there's two different things. There's the internet and the World Wide Web. The internet is all of the computers that connect together, all of the servers, all the routers, all the switches, the way that the internet actually works, the infrastructure behind it. The World Wide Web is what Tim Berners-Lee created. It's this thing that you can have a web browser and you can punch in an address and it does this translation from a number to a name. And it says, okay, I want to go to drew.com, and you punch in drew.com and it says, oh, drew.com is located at 1212.124. blah blah blah, and it converts it and it displays it and it gives you rich content so that you can browse the web, so that you can see pictures and see video and have all these, you know, things that are going on. And at the very core of it, it's a social network. I mean, the World Wide Web was created so people could share information the same way that you do on Facebook, on Twitter, MySpace, you know, Mocospace, whatever it is that you do, whatever it is that you guys go on. The World Wide Web was created to share content the exact same way. And so in its inception, it was created as a way for people to communicate. And that's the core fundamental of a social network, is for people to exchange information, to be social, and to network socially using electronic media as a medium. The long answer is a social network is an online service platform or site that focuses on building and reflecting in social networks, social relations among people who share interests and or activities, blah, 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 blah. That's the long answer. You guys know this. Social network is Facebook, MySpace, Twitter, Wikipedia, using any of these different places where people can congregate and add information to share with other people. That's what social networking is. So we'll start at the beginning. Back in the day, before the internet was first created, there was these things called BBSs, bulletin board services, or bulletin board systems. And what would happen is you get this phone number, and you dial into a phone number, and it would pop up this little screen. It would say, welcome to the BBS, and it would allow you to post news, read news, post to a forum, download files, and interact with other people. Instead of using a phone, now you can use a computer to interact. One of the other things I do is I'm a ham radio nerd. I'm a walkie-talkie guy, and so I've got these radios that I can talk to people across thousands of miles. And that was like the first social network, if you ask me. It's two-way. What BBSs did is allowed a nerd to sit in front of his computer and punch in information and talk to people who were other nerds who didn't want to get out from behind their computer and go have, a normal life. So BBSs started everything out. Well, then comes the internet. DARPA was the defense research project that originated the internet. I'm not going to give you a whole history of the internet, but basically they put out this government grant and said we want to connect all the schools to share information, we want to connect all the government entities to share information, and that's where it was created. With that infrastructure in place of all those, basically wires connecting all these groups together, that's what formed the internet. Then guys like Tim Berners-Lee, who created the World Wide Web, said, hey, there's this really cool system there. Let's use let's use that information superhighway, what everybody used to call it, as a way to put information online. And so that's how the World Wide Web was created. Then in about the 90s, the chat rooms were like they would catch me out. Everybody was in chat rooms. The only reason you got an AOL account was to go hit on chicks. It was like, and it's funny, if you guys have seen the movie The Social Network, the entire reason Facebook was created was to pick up girls, or guys, in some cases. So it's weird. So AOL kind of kicked it off. They opened up all these chat rooms, and you signed up for your monthly account, you got online, you started chatting with people, and then you could spread websites with them. You could say, hey, go check this site out, or here's a news article that I read that was pretty interesting. So you started that swapping of information in a different medium now. Well, then in the 2000s, Friendster, MySpace, Facebook, and all these other technologies came out and provided easier ways to connect, easier ways for people to share information. So this is a slide that I stole from a presentation online, and it's got kind of a breakdown of how everything goes. So you've got, the very beginning, the first social network, right, the postal service, people trading information via letters. Telegraph, radio, where it all falls in the line. CompuServe was the first online service that multiple groups of people could dial into and use. MUDs, I don't think any of you guys played Zork, but a MUD was a multi-user domain. It was a game that you could go into. You would say, you've walked up to a mailbox. There is a house to the north. What would you like to do? And you had to type in open mailbox. Or go north. Open door. And it sounds really stupid, dude. It was awesome because you're like, oh man, all these choices. So it was really cool. It was like the first big multiplayer game, and those came out around the same time as the BBS. The Well was really cool. The Well doesn't get enough recognition for what it did. It was a website that that was this huge online forum repository where people would talk about everything. They'd just get on and post their thoughts and opinions and so on and so forth. And that really kicked in the social networking side. Listserv is mailing list. Then all of a sudden, you forward up to 1999, Napster comes out up there on the top. So people went from, instead of exchanging information, exchanging songs, exchanging music and sharing music with each other. Legal or illegal, it did a lot for the industry. Because now it said, hey, instead of just sending you an email and saying, hey, how's it going? I can say, hey, check this song out and attach it and send it to you and share with you my library and you can share your library with me. As the internet progressed, things started popping up. Blogger sites started coming up. You see over there in 2003, Second Life. Did any of you guys play Second Life?
I think you said in our curriculum you can choose to do that, but it's kind of creepy.
Second Life is a trip. I have a friend of mine who met his soon-to-be wife in Second Life. Are you guys familiar with Second Life at all?
I heard about it.
It's like Avatar.
Yeah, you create an avatar, right? Just like you do with your Xbox or your Wii or whatever. And you go into this online world, but this online world is actually kind of a real world. So you have real money, you have real health, you have real relationships, you have all this other stuff, and it's all these other nerds that are in there. And I use the term nerd very loosely.
Yes.
It's all these other people that are on there who, instead of going out and interacting with people in bars and clubs and things like that, they go online. And you can shop on there. Every major retail outlet has a store in Second Life, and you buy things in a virtual world using real money. It's a total trip. And what started that off was a place called the Palace. The Palace was the first one to do that, but then Second Life came along and took it to a whole new level. Second Life probably has about 200, 300, maybe 400 million users on it at any given time. It's a really interesting service.
They can use it really well. There's an instructor at ETP that does a great job
Yeah,
with it.
like you could attend this class.
Yeah.
Maybe not this class, but you can attend
You
a
can
class
go
in
grab a
Second
book
Life.
and read it.
You walk your little nerd over to
Yeah.
the thing and you sit
Walk
down.
in your avatar.
Yeah, it's pretty rowdy, man. It's a whole, anyway, it's still alive and doing very well. But as things progress, as technology moved forward, you can see kind of how that took shape. So combine all this crazy social media stuff that's going on, where people are starting to put more content online. Combine that with this statistic, and this is really interesting to look at. And it's not a huge gap, but it shows you what's going on. This is the average price of a computer, the average price of a PC, and what the growth in the marketplace is. The orange represents the growth in the marketplace, but the blue represents what the cost of a PC is. It starts in 1994 on the left and it goes over to 2011 on the right-hand side. This is cool for people like us. I grew up in Mercedes. I grew up on a dirt road in Colonia. We didn't have a lot of money. We weren't all freaking millionaires. I was the only kid that had indoor plumbing in my house. It was awesome. I was the superstar. But what's really cool is, there's this point, in the late 90s, mid to late 90s, 94 to 98, where you're looking at, over $2,000 the cost of a PC. A lot of families in the valley couldn't afford that. A lot of people, and I'm not at all trying to be mean, but a lot of our parents couldn't go out there and say, I'm going to justify $2,000 to spend on a computer so my son can learn or read an encyclopedia or something. Nobody was doing it. It was completely cost prohibitive. So you've got all this social media stuff coming up where people are getting more interactive with other people and with the world, and you combine that with the dropping price of computers. You can go buy a netbook, if you have a Verizon account, you can go to the Verizon store and get a netbook for $1 or $50 or whatever it is. So now you have all these opportunity for you to get a machine and actually take place in the virtual and digital world. And then combine it with this, median household income. This is from 1967 through 2007. We've gone up $20,000. Pay is going up. People are getting paid more now than they were before for the same job. So now you have more income, lower cost of computers, everybody's online, everybody's doing it. But don't forget this. This is very, very interesting because one of the radical shifts that's taking place in the technology world right now is smartphones. This is, in 2006 there were, about 60, 75 million smartphone shipments. By 2013 they're estimating 450 million smartphones. So what do you need a computer for? Why your access online, you guys saw me, I was standing out in the hallway sitting here doing email, sending off reports, checking my Facebook, texting Kim, all kinds of stuff. And I can do it all with my phone. I don't need a computer. I don't need to go out and spend $2,000. I've got my phone that does everything I need it to do, and it's always connected to the internet.